Hello, this is Anthony with BBSN, and I'm excited to be getting the Statis Pro 1976 Game of the Week replay project underway. And as mentioned in the intro video, this basically will be a nostalgic replay. NBC in 76 had a Game of the Week on every Saturday, of course, and as well as some Monday night telecasts. And this will just be capturing interesting games, same format, basically one game from each week of the season, maybe sometimes two if something good comes up. And we'll try and capture all 24 teams at least once in this. Also have some requests, Phillies and Mets, those games will be coming up. Going to get a White Sox game in with Wilbur Wood, who was injured early in the season. From a line drive off the bat of Ron LaFleur. That will be the second replay, actually, while he is still active. But what better way to lead it off than with a Yankees game against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers did defeat the Yankees in real life in this opening day game. But this season started a run of 3 straight pennants for the mighty Yankees. And I can think of no better way again to kick off a project, though others may disagree. So lineups for this one, Mickey Rivers, one of my favorite players from that squad, leads off in center. Roy White in left. Thurman Munson will be the designated hitter today. Chris Chambliss at first. Oscar Gamble in right. Greg Nettles at third. Willie Randolph at second. Rick Dempsey behind the plate. And Jim Mason at shortstop. Catfish Hunter will be on the mound for the Yankees, and one of the first big money free agent signings that the boss orchestrated. For the Brewers, Charlie Moore, who is normally a catcher, will play left today and lead off. Don Money at third. The Boomer, George Scott at first. Darrell Porter behind the dish, and he'd go on to some great season with the Royals. Toward the end of his career, excited to have a game featuring him. The Hammer, Hank Aaron. Sixto Lescano in center. Bill Sharp in right. A young Robin Yount, 20 years old this season, at short. And Pedro Garcia at second. And on the mound for the Brewers, the very capable Jim Slayton. So the camera setup, I broke my camera mount, so this is kind of a makeshift setup. So it'll change as we go on, but this will get the job done. And again, I will be playing this a combination of dice and the fast action cards, which I will use, flip over to get the result of outs. And for the dice, a 1d20, 1 will be a clutch batting result, 2 or 3 will be a clutch defense result, and again, the runners have to be on base for that. Everything else on the 1d20 will be ignored. And then also, if a 1 appears on the 1d20 as well as the 2 d6s, that will result in a rare play, and we will consult the Z chart for the result there. So pretty basic and straightforward there. Some new rules in Statis Pro Advanced. I did play a few innings last night to familiarize myself with them, but I'm sure we'll have a couple of starts and stops until it gets second nature. You know, one thing with Statis Pro, and it was probably one of the few negatives, as mentioned, this is really my favorite baseball game overall that I've ever played in my life. But the charts, there are a lot of charts. I have 5 set up, actually 6 set up for the just to get through the gameplay. And if you know from this channel, I'm not a big charts guy, but the rest of the mechanics and the way this game flows kind of makes up for that. And like I said, we will get the hang of it and get back into the flow. So the first thing that we need to do is check for stuff, and we're playing at County Stadium. So to see if there's an adjustment to the pitcher stuff, 11 to 21 will be a positive adjustment, and an 82 to 88 will be a negative adjustment. So the home actually will go visiting pitcher, Catfish Hunter first. And 63, no change to his stuff. Jim Slayton, 88, that's going to be a -2. If you see on my thumb there, and -2 to his stuff results. So Slayton, he is a 2.6 against lefties and a 2.7 against righties. It's going to be a big blow to him. That will put him down to 2.4 and 2.5. So that will most definitely have an impact on this game, and we're ready to get started. I think I have covered all the precursory things I need to, so let's play some baseball. All right, 9, that's going to be off the mix card. And 3, clutch defense will not apply with a runner on base. 81. Now let's just adjust this a little bit. There we go. All right, 81, and that is going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. Check for an error, and Yount makes the play. So 6-3, and we are underway, 1976 season, as Rivers heads back to the dugout. The other thing early in this, these cards are a little bit sticky, so we'll have some occasional issues there. Next up, Roy White, and nothing on the 1D20, 68. It's going to be off White's card. That will also be out. And White is a switch hitter, so LN, ground ball down to second base. And Garcia takes care of that, so 2 up, 2 down for the Yankees to start the season. Thurman Munson up now, and 6 with the adjustment again is going to be off Munson's card, 16, and that's going to be a hit, a base knock into center field. I'm sorry, make that left field, and no error on that. So Munson, our first hit of the 1976 season, that's going to bring up the cleanup hitter, Chris Chambliss, Yankee first baseman. And Slayton looking to get out of this without any damage. It's going to be off Chambliss's card, and 25 against the right-hander. That is going to be a single as well. No error on that. We'll flip another card for base runner advancement. So again, 2 outs. We add 1 to the base runner's OBR rating, which makes Munson an A+. And that's not applicable. And 84, random number, so we're going single. First to third, and A+. And he is going to be, it's actually going to be a challenge result. So challenge, this is a new advanced rule. What happens there is basically we have to roll again, or do another fast action number, I should say. And we'll go to the challenge chart, and it references the base runner's run rating. So 38 is our random number. And 38 is going to be on the run rating column, and A is going to be safe at third. So runners at the corners for the Yankees now after all that, and Oscar Gamble up with a chance to put the Bronx Bombers on the board. And actually, I'm just going to do this. No, I'm not. Like I said, this will be corrected. I just need to get a new camera mount. A little bit wonky now. So to Gamble, and left-handed power hitter versus a right-hander. That is going to be an out off of Gamble's card. And left-handed power, a ground ball down to first base, and no error there. So 3 unassisted. As George Scott makes the play, the Yankees get a couple of hits but leave 2 runners, and we head to the bottom of the first inning. No score in this one. So the Catfish on the mound for the Yankees, and he will face Charlie Moore to start this off. And clutch D result again does not matter. Hunter, he is a 2-5 versus left-handers and a 4-7 versus rights, and this is 7 be off Hunter's card. 35 against the right-handed batter, and that's going to be a strikeout. So Hunter starting things off good for the Yanks. 1 down. The money man, Don Money, steps up off Hunter's card again. That's going to be an out. And that will be a ground ball down to shortstop. And, error, 2-20 on that. And Yankee shortstop Jim Mason, he is a 5, so that will be an error. And we will check to see what type. Infield is going to be an error 1. And ground ball down to shortstop. Shortstop grabs, boots ground ball, batter to first, runners advance 1 base. OBRA or B, 2 bases of 2 outs, not going to be applicable. So Brewers have their first runner on, courtesy of an error. And that is going to bring up George Scott. Actually, I need to... One thing I need to remember is to do the reduction on this. All right, 13 to Scotty. This is going to be off his card. It will be actually 64 against the right-hander. That's going to be a hit by pitch, and that is a definite. So Catfish, after a great start, an error seems to have discombobulated him. He beans Scott, and that brings up Darryl Porter, the cleanup man. Porter, of course, had some great seasons with Kansas City and was a nemesis of my Yankees during that time. 4, this is going to be off Hunter's card. That will be an out. And the left-handed hitting Porter, disregard that. I need to pull those steel cards out. Left-handed hitting Porter, that is going to be a fly ball to left field. And no error. No, we won't do that. There we go, no error. So 2 down now, and Hunter going to get out of this inning, but he has to get by the hammer, Hank Aaron, first. And at the time, the all-time leader in home runs. 4 is going to be off Hunter's card, and 28, ring him up, swing and a miss. Catfish comes through, strikes out Aaron, and the Brewers are done in the first. No hits, no runs, 1 error, 2 left. And we head to the top of the second inning. No score in this one, and Yankees looking to do some damage against a stuff-impaired Jim Slayton. And 6 against the left-hander. That's going to be off Nettles' card, 38. And he's going to draw the base on balls. That's right in that power range, but Nettles just missed a potential. Well, actually, not so much. Well, actually, I think I might have looked at the wrong column. Well, 38 is actually going to be a deep ball. I looked versus left-hander, so 38. And this is a new wrinkle with the advanced game as well. So in these situations, you'll bring out the ballpark chart and check for the deep fly. So for County Stadium, the year of this game, 11 to 41 is a home run, 42 is a triple, 43 to 44 is a double, and everything else is a deep fly ball. So 72, and that is going to be a deep fly ball to center field. And on the advancement on that, runner on first, a BD. A BD A or B will advance to second base, and Greg Nettles is a D, or I'm sorry. Now I got all jacked up. Nettles actually led off the inning. All right, but we'll just play it like it is and give Willie Randolph the fly out. Like I said, there'll be some stops and starts with this game, but that brings up the deep fly rule anyhow. So 10, this is going to be off Dempsey's card, and 73, that will be an out against the right-hander. Ground ball down to third base, and up with that is Money across the diamond, no problem. And that is actually going to be a 5-4-3 double play. So the Yankees are erased in the second inning. And with a double play as well, that adds 1 back from the pitcher's reduction. So Slayton, a net gain of 0 for that inning in terms of his fatigue reduction. I really do like the fatigue reduction system in this game as well. Very, very well. Clutch defense won't come into play. 7, and the right-hander Lescano, that's going to come off Hunter's card. 13, it's going to be a single to left, and you do not check for an error when the hit comes off the pitcher's card. So the Brew Crew has their first hit of the afternoon. That brings up Bill Sharp. 6, that's going to be off of Sharp's card, and 41 versus the right-hander, that's going to be an out. So LN, that's going to be a ground ball down to second base. That'll be a fielder's choice if there's no error. So Lescano is erased at second, 4-6. And fielder's choice on at first is Bill Sharp, 1 down. Brings up the young prodigy Robin Yount, who of course went on to a great Hall of Fame career. 63 is going to be off Yount's card, or 9 will be off Yount's card. 63 will be an out. And yeah, that's a deep fly ball to left field, and money will hold 2 away. And the 9th place hitter for the Brew Crew, Pedro Garcia, the second baseman. 25 off of Garcia's card, and that is going to be bad news for Catfish. That is a double into the right field corner. And check for error. No error on that, so Sharp will go for advancement now, and Bill Sharp is a C runner. So double off batter's card 68 and a C. 68 is going to go to the outfield arm chart. And in center field for the Yankees, and again, this is what I really love about the different interactions here. Mickey Rivers is a 4. So 68, and he is going to have to stop at third base. Not want to challenge, doesn't want to challenge the Mick. So 2 down, and runners at second, third now. Back to the top of the order for the Brew Crew. Charlie Moore up. Hunter looking to extricate himself from this jam. It's going to come off of his card, and 34 against the right-hander struck him out. So second time Moore's gone down swinging, and that gets Hunter out of the inning, but the Brewers get a couple of hits. Leave 2. We're heading to the top of the third. No score in this one still, as Jim Mason, Yankee shortstop, in the pre-Bucky F. and Dent era, set to lead it off. Slayton, this is going to come off of his card, as 4 is still good, and 24 against the right-hander, or left-hander, sorry, 24 is going to be a single into right field. And again, no error check on that, as Mason trots down to first base. And back to the top of the order, Mickey Rivers. And Rivers, we're going to execute a little hit and run here, I believe. So Rivers is a hit and run 1. And like I said, the new chart's getting used to it. I got to find the hit and run. I do not show the hit and run chart. All right, we'll skip hit and run. I'll get organized for that. Well, that's for another day. Mickey Rivers up, nobody out. And 14, 9 is going to be off Rivers' card. 52 will be an out against the right-handed pitcher. And Mickey Rivers ground ball down to shortstop, and that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. The Mick is doubled up. Just make sure on his run adjustment here, yeah, on a G6 or G4, that is always going to be a double play. So 6-4-3, and again, that is going to erase the fatigue point off Slayton for the single, and I'm adding those fatigue digits up at the end of the round. Roy White up. 38 off White's card versus the right-hander, and 38 is going to be a deep drive. So White, County Stadium, 41 or less, and 24, that ball is gone. Kiss it goodbye. Roy White gets the Yankees' first home run and first run of the season with a deep drive into the right field bleachers. And Yankees break on top 1-0. And White got all of that one. So he trots around the bases, and on a hit, that would be 2 to Slayton's fatigue reduction, a hit and a run scored. So Yankees happy, they're on top to open this season. Thurman Munson up, clutch D not going to come into play. And RN, that's going to be a sharp line drive at second base, and that's going to be speared by Garcia. Inning is over. But the Yankees break on top after a double play. It could have been worse. Roy White launches a blast into the Milwaukee night and 2 hits. 1 run, no errors, and nobody left. And the Yankees lead this 1-0 heading into the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the money man steps up. Catfish Hunter on the mound. Very happy with the millions in his bank account, courtesy of one George Steinbrenner. Gets set to face Don Money, and 48. This is going to be off of Hunter's card. 48 will be an out. And for Money, that's a ground ball down to shortstop. Mason scoops that up, whips it across the diamond to Chambliss, and we have 1 down. Next up, the boomer, George Scott. He was an intimidating presence in this Milwaukee lineup. Not a big home run year in 1976, only 18, but he did have some pop in his bat. 6 going to be off of Hunter's card as well, and 32, that's going to be a strikeout. So Hunter rings up his 3rd Brewer. He's had a little bit of issues with wildness in the 1st inning, but has settled in nicely since then. And cleanup hitter Darrell Porter, that's going to be off Porter's card, 51 against the right-hander, and that is going to be a walk. So Porter draws a base on balls. And 2 out base runner for the Brewers again. Hunter looking to get out of this, and once again Hank Aaron up. And the mighty hammer gets a nice ovation. Here comes the pitch. And 82 is going to be off Hunter's card. And the right-handed power hitting Aaron. He grounds that down to 3rd base. Nettles ranges to his left, whips it across to Chambliss, and side is retired. 5-3 on the putout. So the Brewers get a walk. Can't do anything with that. We're heading to the top of the 4th inning. 1-0 Yankees on the strength of Roy White's solo home run. And I am really liking the way the dice are flowing with this game. Like I said, the setup needs to be adjusted because my camera's rigged right now, but it'll flow even better when I swing by Best Buy and get that. 11 is going to be off Chambliss's card. 77 is going to be an out against the righty. And that is going to be a fly ball to deep right field, and ranging back to pull that one in, no problem, will be Bill Sharp. 1 down as Chambliss heads back to the dugout. Oscar Gamble, who just recently passed away last year, was definitely known for his prodigious afro back in the 70s. And pretty good ball player as well. 8's going to come off of Gamble's card. 52 will be an out. And Gamble, that is going to be a line drive at second base and speared by Garcia. 2 down. What I will probably do, I'm going to look at possibly making a, and that was 1 out, not 2. Possibly making the error checks come off the 1D22. I just need to figure out a good way to do that so we're flipping less cards. I want to make sure I stay true to the accuracy of the game, basically. 87 is going to be an out off a Nettles card, and the power hitting 3rd baseman grounds that down to 1st base, and up with that is the Brewers' 1st baseman, George Boomer Scott. Takes that himself. 2 down now. I really do like these cards. The quality too. Derek, who sells these on eBay, he does a good job. And like I mentioned in the intro, they're a little busy, but once you get used to that and find out where everything is at, they're a really, really nice card. So 38, going to be off Randolph's card. That's going to be a base on balls. So Willie trots down to first base, and I think we're going to get a little steal action in here. So Willie's going to steal second, and he is a AA in terms of speed. Gets his lead. Here comes a pitch. Randolph is going, 82. And AA, that is going to go to the, actually that's going to go to the catcher's arm. So behind the dish, Darrell Porter, he has a throwing arm of B. And 82, he's going to gun him down. So Willie somehow I really got out of sorts here. I don't know what I did, but all right, we'll say Willie is gunned down. Actually, that was Nettles that drew the walk. I think that's because the cards are sticking. So we would not be stealing there, so we're not going to steal with Nettles. He's slow as molasses. So we'll just use this as Willie's roll, and that will be an out outside the air range. It's the second time I've done that, so apologies. Like I said, when these cards get played, they'll get a little bit less tacky. So we're heading to the bottom of the fourth inning. The Yankees still lead this one 1-0. And set to lead it off for the Brew Crew is Sixto Lezcano. Also spent some time with the Padres, was in the outfield there with Kevin McReynolds. 9 is going to be off Lezcano's card, and 54. 54 against the right-hander. That's going to be a strikeout. So Hunter has the K pitch going as Lezcano slams the bat, heads back to the dugout. Gets a gentle razzing from the home fans. Bill Sharp up. 8 is going to be off Sharp's card, and 41. That'll be an out. And Sharp ground ball down to shortstop. Mason has that, whips it across the diamond. And 2 quick outs here in the fourth. Brings up Robin Yount. And eventually, too, like I said, this game's going to be a little slower. I eventually want to get these to about 35, 40 minutes would be a good, which I think is very possible with this. So it's going to be off Hunter's card, 16 to Yount. That's going to be a single back up the middle, and again, no error check. So the young shortstop has a base hit. And 2 outs. He's going to get his lead. He'll stay put. 23-5 is going to be off Hunter's card again, and against the right-hander. 23 is going to be another strikeout. So Hunter pitching well as he sets the Brewers down here in the fourth inning. We're heading to the top of the fifth, and Yankees still lead this 1-0. And Rick Dempsey also went on to play, or played previously with Baltimore, and went on to play with the Dodgers as well. I think he was traded to Baltimore actually this year. 57, and that's going to be off of Slayton's card. That will be an out. And a pop fly to foul territory in first base. And these cards are sticking, and that's going to be no error. So F3 for Dempsey, that's going to bring up Jim Mason, and Yankees clinging to this 1-0 lead. Slayton, despite having terrible stuff for this game, is determined in the pregame roll, is pitching fairly well. It's going to be off of Slayton's card, and 17, or 18, that's going to be a single into center field, so Mason has his second hit of the game. And that brings us back to the top of the order, the Mickey Rivers. And again, no error check when hits come off the pitcher's card. 72 to the Mick off Slayton's card. That's going to be an out. So LN, and that is a deep fly ball to center field. And going back on that one at the track, at the wall, and pulling it in is Sixto Lescano. A deep, loud out for Rivers, 2 down. That brings up Roy White, left fielder. White today has grounded out to second. Of course, had that blast launched back in the 3rd inning, the only run of the game so far. And 8's going to be off White's card again, 52 versus the left or righty, and that is going to be a base on balls. So Roy White having himself a good game, trots down to first base, and Thurman Munson, the catcher, up, 3rd place hitter in the Yankees lineup. And 7, that's going to be off Munson's card. And 1, we have a clutch batting result. 78 on the clutch batting chart. And Munson takes a healthy cut, but that is going to be nothing but a long, loud out. And a right-handed normal hitter. It'll be a ground ball down to 3rd base. And taken care of no problem down there by Don Money. So the Yankees get a hit and a walk. They strand both as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. New York still clinging to a 1-0 lead as Catfish Hunter set to face Charlie Moore. And that's one thing, I'll be able to get a wider view when I get my camera fixed so we won't have this flopping, and that plays into my OCD with keeping the card straight too. 52, Charlie Moore against the right-hander. That's going to be a base on ball, so he draws a walk after striking out twice previously. So the Brewers have a base runner, and they're in business here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Don Money up. It's going to be off Money's card as well. 68 will be an out, however. And that will be a fly ball to left field. And no error on that, 1 down. It's going to bring up the boomer, George Scott, the power-hitting first baseman for the Brewers. And in 2 appearances today, he has been plunked in the ribs by Hunter and struck out back in the 3rd. 10, coming off Scott's card against the right-hander, 56. And Scott, foul tip, hung on to by Dempsey, and he strikes out for the 2nd straight time, so 2 down. And Hunter, he is up to 5-6 strikeouts now in this one as Darryl Porter steps in. 2 out, runner on first base for a little bit of 2-out magic here. And 62 is going to be off Porter's card. That will be an out. And the fast action cards are skipping. Will be a ground ball down to 3rd base. Nettles has that, no problem, piece of cake. So the Brewers are gone, and we are through 5, and Yankees clinging to a 1-0 lead to open the 1976 Status Pro Game of the Week replay project as Chris Chambliss set to lead it off for the Bombers. And 43, that's going to be off of Slayton's card. And against the left-hander, that is going to be a base on balls. So Chambliss walks. That brings up Oscar Gamble, another lefty. 6, and that comes off of Gamble's card. 48 versus the right-hander, and that will be barely an out. So left-handed power hitter, and that's a deep fly ball to left field. Going back to the track and pulling that one in is Charlie Moore. 1 down. Greg Nettles steps in. Nettles, in his 2 previous appearances, has drawn a walk both times. So looking to work a little contact against Moore now, or Slayton. And 6 with the adjustment, that's going to be off of Nettles' card. 76 will be an out. And Nettles, a pop fly, foul territory down the 3rd base line, and camping under that near the stands is Money. Pulls that in. Can of corn, and 2 away for Willie Randolph, the Yankees' young 2nd baseman. 10 going to be off Randolph's card, and 22 And that is going to be a base hit to center. And no error on that. And for runner advancement, we have Chambliss, who is an OBRC. And he'll be a B actually with a 2-out adjustment. So 42. And single to center, first to third. And 42, he's over to third base. So runners at the corners now for the Yanks. And that's going to bring up Rick Dempsey, much better known for his defense. You can see on his card, he is horrendous. He hit 119 with the Yankees in 1976. So 43 is going to come off of Slayton's card. 43 against the right-hander, and that's going to be an out. So Dempsey fly ball to left field, and coming in to take that, basket catch style, is Charlie Morse. So the Yankees get a hit, a walk, leave a couple. And we are heading to the bottom of the 6th inning. Yankees leading 1-0 on this one. Catfish Hunter now set to face the all-time home run king, Hammer and Hank Aaron. And 6, it's going to be off of Hunter's card, 23. And he's got Aaron on strikes. Second time Hank's gone down. He's 0 for 3 on the day now. Also has a ground out to Nettles sandwiched in there. Sixto Lescano, Brewer center fielder. He's singled, struck out. 6, and that's going to be off of Hunter's card as well for an out. And Lescano, line drive to third base. Nettles steps in front of that, 2 hands it, and we have 2 down as Bill Sharp steps up for the Brewers. All right, and 72, that is going to be an out off of Sharp's card. And fly to deep right field, and going back to pull that one in is Gamble, and he makes a catch, no problem. Yeah, I really would like to figure out something to do one less flip for error checks as the Brewers go 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. Now with pitcher reduction for starters, so at this point, for every inning started from the 6th on, so we're through 6, so from the 7th on, they will get an automatic fatigue point. As I sit right now, both pitchers in good shape. Slayton has a total fatigue number of 17. He's sitting at 9, and Hunter has 18, and he's only at 7. So no danger for either of them needing to be pulled at this point as we head to the 7th inning of this one. And again, Yankees still leading 1-0. All right, and 34, that's going to come off of Mason's card, and against the right-hander, that is going to be a strikeout. So Mason, who is putting in his bid for player of the game with singles in his first 2 at-bats, goes down swinging this time as Mickey Rivers steps in. And the Mick, with his easy stride, steps into the box. He's 0 for 3, however. 5 against the left-hander, and with that bad stuff adjustment, that's going to come off of Rivers' card, which bodes well, and it's going to be a single right back up the middle. So the Mick on at first base, and he is an A-plus speedy guy, so he's going to try and steal as well. And again, behind the plate, Porter is a B. 46 for the A-plus, and he's going to have to hold. So much for that. Slayton doesn't let him get a lead as Roy White steps in. 16, and 7 is going to be off of White's card. 81 will be an out, however. And against the right-hander, a fly ball to center field, and that's pulled in out there by Sixto Lescano, so 2 down. And Thurman Munson, the great Yankee catcher. One of the best mustaches in the game in the 70s. 5, that'll be off Slayton's card, 33, and Slayton's going to give up another base on balls. So he's going to be getting to the point now. He'll lose 3 fatigue points for this inning. So he's going to be getting close. You probably will not see a complete game out of him. 6 against the left-hander, and again with the adjustment coming off Chambliss's card, and that's going to be good for the Yankees. It's a double into center field into the gap. So coming around to score, Mickey Rivers is in, and the check for Munson. Is he going to try and score from first base on the double? 75 and double to the outfield. Munson is an A. So double off the batter's card for an A and a 75 random number. It's going to go to the outfield arm, and Lescano, he has a throw rating of 3, or an arm of 3. So T3 and 75, and he is only going to get to third base on that. So Munson playing it safe as Rivers steps on the base, so Yankees will have runners on second and third. As Chambliss roped that one into the gap. Oscar Gamble, the batter. Slayton looking to get out of this inning. 6, and that is going to be off of Gamble's card. That will be an out. And left-handed power hitter. That's a deep fly ball to center field, going back to the track, and Lescano over the shoulder pulls that in. So the Yanks are retired, but they get a couple of hits and a run. Also had a walk in there, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 added on to Slayton. That puts him at 14 now, so he's only got 3 to go as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Yanks with a 2-0 lead behind the fine pitching of Catfish Hunter. And out in the Brewers bullpen, Ray Sadecki, the left-hander, is going to get up and start to loosen up. And Catfish Hunter prepares to face Robin Yount here in the 7th inning. As the organ music for the 7th inning stretch, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, fades into the background, and Yount is going to be off of his card, 45, just going to be an out. And RN, ground ball down to first base, and Chambliss handles that himself. Steps to the bag, 1 down to start the 7th inning. Pedro Garcia, the Brewers' second baseman, steps up to the plate. He has doubled and struck out in this one. And 7, that's going to be off Catfish's card, 21, and he's going to ring him up another time. So strikeout number 2 on the day for Garcia as Hunter. He's had really no moments of danger. He hasn't really had any, only had 2, actually just 1 3-up, 3-down inning. This could be the second in a row, but no threats at this point from the Brewers. And against the right-hander, 3, now that's under 4, so that's going to be off of Moore's card. And 42 versus the right-hander, and Moore's going to draw the walk. So once again, Hunter fails to get a 3-up, 3-down inning. But he is keeping the Brewers out of scoring position. This is going to be a clutch batting result, however, and 77 off of Money's card versus the right-hander. And that is going to be a out. So Money unable to come through in the clutch, grounds it down to Nettles, and Nettles scoops that up, fires it across the diamond. And once again, the Brewers are done. So we're through 7. Yankees clinging to a 2-0 lead in this one. And yeah, really enjoying getting back into this. Good memories of playing this back in the day. So I'm glad I decided to finally go ahead and make the purchase and get the advanced version here. As Greg Nettles set to lead off for the Yanks in the top of the 8th inning, and this will probably be Slayton's last inning if he gets through this. 17 is going to come off Nettles' card. That is going to be a base hit. And a hard single into right field, no error. So after, if Slayton gives up another base runner, or allows another base runner, he is going to be at his fatigue point. But no worries, Ray Sadecki, the lefty, is ready to go down in the pen. Slayton to Randolph. And 73, that's going to be an out for Willie. Pops it up behind the plate. Porter, can of corn. One down as he puts that away easily. As Rick Dempsey steps up. Dempsey on the day, the fine defensive catcher, living up to that behind the plate and living up to his lack of hitting skills. He's 0 for 3. 15, that's going to be off Slayton's card, however, and that is going to be a base hit, and that is going to be it for Slayton. Let's do our runner advancement as Nettles. He is a D. Only one down, 48, going first to third. And that was a single to center field. Again, no error check off the pitcher's card. And Nettles is going to be held station to station. So Slayton's day is going to be completed with that. He's going to go 7 2/3 innings. Gives up 9 hits, has 2 runners on base that he's responsible for. 2 runs outside of that. And on the day he walked 3, 4, 5 and only struck out 1. So, that again, matching up, Slayton did have bad stuff in this one, so not totally unexpected. And the southpaw, Ray Sadecki. And Sadecki in 1976 was 2-0 in 37 innings pitched, 1 save, a 4.34 ERA. And he will take his final warm-up tosses. As Jim Mason will be the next Yankees batter. And Mason has struck out and singled a couple of times. Sadecki gets a sign. Here he comes. And 5, Sadecki is a 2-8 versus lefties and only a 2-4 versus righties. Mason is a lefty, so that's going to come off Sadecki's card. And 36, that's going to be a strikeout. So second time down on strikes for Mason. And yeah, I'm going to say it again. It's so enjoyable getting back into this game. 8, that's going to be off Sadecki's card as a lefty. I should have checked Sadecki's stuff, but that's, again, another thing I'll remember to do. 43, and he's going to ring up the Mick, and that retires the side. So the Yankees get a couple more hits in this inning, but strand both of them. As we head to the bottom of the 8th inning, Yankees lead this 2-0. And Slayton is off the hook with only the 2 earned runs. So Hunter looking to get the complete game on opening day, back when they let pitchers do that. It's also when they didn't have the damn opener. 47 to Scott against the right-hander, and Scott swing and a miss. So Hunter, that's a 3rd time he sent Scott down on strikes. So Scott, the hat trick. Heads back to the dugout. Won't get a chance for the sombrero, but Darryl Porter is going to look to get the Brewers on pace here. As 5, it'll come off of Hunter's card. 88 will be an out. And the left-handed hitting Porter grounds that down to shortstop. Mason up with it, and Mason 8 20 on an error. Mason down there already has 1. He's a 5, but he's going to be able to make the play. So bobbles that, but recovers in time to get the slow-footed Porter. And that brings up Hammer and Hank Aaron. And Aaron, it would have been a clutch batting result if Porter had been able to get on there. 7 against the righty, though. That's going to be off of Catfish's card. And the power-hitting Aaron grounds that down to short to Mason. And Mason whips it across to Chambliss. And again, an error check, but a 20. And 3 up, 3 down, go the Brew Crew in the 8th. So Catfish, he's at 10 for his fatigue. And Sadecki, who is a 5. This is only his second inning started, so he only has 1, and Hunter has 10, so Hunter will be good to go if he can get through the 9th. 10, it's Roy White, the switch hitter. He's hitting right-handed, and 21 is going to be off of White's card, and White loops a single into right field off the end of the bat. So Roy has his second hit of the day to go with that home run he slugged. And he is a speed of A. We're going to challenge Porter again. So we need 11 to 23 off of White's card. 54 is going to come off of the pitcher's card. And what you do there is check hold rating, and that is a B. So 54, and that is going to be a stolen base. So he stole that off Sadecki. And also we'll do an error check on that, and no error. So Yankees leadoff runner at second, looking for a little bit of insurance. Thurman Munson, he says, I can give it to you 2 to 4 against the right-hander, so that's going to be off Munson's card. 65 against the lefty, and that's going to be an out, and he's a power hitter against lefty, so that is a deep fly ball to center field, and Lescano, no error, he pulls that in over the shoulder. That is going to be deep enough to get White to third, however. So the Yankees, a little insurance, only 90 feet away. And the big bat of Chris Chambliss, the cleanup hitter, up. And despite hitting cleanup, he never really was a huge home run guy. He was usually in the high teens. Definitely an intimidating presence, though. And 5 against the left-hander comes off Sadecki's card. And 11, that's going to be an infield single. So White comes in to score. And the big galoot Chris Chambliss has the RBIs. He legs that one out. And Sadecki has only 1 fatigue point left, so he cannot give up another base runner, or he's going to need to be replaced. And just to be safe, we'll get Gary Beer down in the bullpen loosening up. 7 against the left-hander, and 31, that is going to be a strikeout. So Sadecki jams Gamble, puts him down on strikes, 2 away. So the Yankees with that much-needed insurance run, and Greg Nettles up. Lefty-lefty matchup definitely favors Sadecki coming off Sadecki's card. And 25, that's going to be a single into right field, however. And again, no error on the pitcher's card. The adjustment to Chambliss will make him a B, and 11. So going first to third on a single to right, and he's easily to third base. And with 2 outs, Sadecki is going to stay in at 1 more batter. Now, the way fatigue reduction works in this game, now that Sadecki has met his 5, is his PB rating, which is the control rating, will go down 1 for each batter. So right now against Willie, it's a 2 to 3. And coming off Willie's card, and that is going to be an out. So no harm, no foul, as Randolph grounds that down to third, money with the play. And Yanks are retired, but they come up with 3 more big hits and a huge insurance run as we're heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. Yankees lead this 3-0. Catfish Hunter looking for the complete game victory on opening day. And leading it off for the Brew Crew will be Lescano. So in the bottom of the 9th, we will have Lescano, Sharp, and Yount as Hunter winds up, and this replay 1976 season off to a great start for the Bronx Bombers. They deserve it. It's coming off Hunter's card. It's going to be an out. And right-handed normal hitter for Lescano. It's going to be a fly ball to right field. 18-20 on the error check, but we're good out there as Yankee right fielder Gamble is only a 2. So 1 down, and Bill Sharp steps up to the plate. And Hunter, 6, going to come off Sharp's card, and 12 12 is going to be a single into center field, or left field, sorry. And no error on that. I've probably forgotten or missed a couple of error checks on base hits off the batter's card, which no big deal. I even debated even doing error checks off the batter's card on hits, or on hits period, but we'll stick to it. If I miss one here or there, no big deal. Yeah, 42 is going to come off Hunter's card, and Hunter gives up the base on balls. So the Brewers have a little something going here, as Catfish is now to 12, and just to be safe, the Yankees are going to get the Sparkster up, Sparky Lyle. He's going to get up and loosen up in the bullpen. As Pedro Garcia steps up, runners on first and second, one down. Hunter trying to wrap this baby up and get the complete game. 7 coming off Hunter's card against the right-hander. 53 will be an out. And let's see if we can get out of this with a double play. RN, that's a G3A, and no error, but Chambliss not going to be able to get the lead runner, so runners go to second and third. 3 unassisted goes Garcia back to the top of the order, so the Brewers tying run comes to the plate, and that insurance run in the 9th was huge. 3-0. Charlie Moore, and Moore struck out twice and walked twice. He is yet to put the ball in play. 2, and that, now again, even though the 4.7 rating here versus a right-hander, per the rules, a 2 will always be off the pitcher's card, and a 12 will always be at the batter's card. So really only here you're looking at a 3 in terms of a low number that would go off the batter's card. So anyhow, off of Hunter's card, 81 is going to be an out. This should be the ball game. RN, a fly ball to left field, and going back to get that is White, and no! Damn it, 1-20, an error. So Roy White, gosh darn it, second error for the Yankees, and that is going to totally hose Catfish Hunter, and for an outfield, that is a 5. So F7 on a 5. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Bad throw. Any runners advance one base, E7. So technically on that, runners would have been going on contact. So that's going to be a drop fly ball, and both runners score. Occasionally you'll get results that don't jive, but you know, if you're sensible with baseball knowledge, you can sort that out. So that will be an E7, and 2 unearned runs for Hunter. 1, 2, 3. That's going to put his fatigue at 18. They're going to leave him in. Charlie Moore is at first, so the Brewers have the winning run at the plate now in the form of 1 Don Money, as Catfish Hunter's defense let him down and did pretty good with the fat cards. Looks like we're going to use roughly half of them in this game, half of the 400. So, well, there's 200 cards, double-sided, so half of the 200. 3 against the right-hander. Son of a gun. So again, that one number there, that's going to come off Money's card. 52 against the right-hander, and that's going to be a walk. So Catfish is running into some bad luck as he tries to close this out. And he's going to get a visit to the mound. George Scott is not to be trifled with, but we have a lefty in the pen. And after Scott, there is a lefty. So Hunter will get one more batter. He's got to do it here. Otherwise, Lyle will come in to face Darrell Porter. And 6 going to come off of Hunter's card. 38. He ends it in style. Ring him up. George Scott goes down on strikes. And Catfish Hunter dodges a bullet. And his defense did not help him at all in that 9th inning. The Brewers, they tally 2 runs on only 1 hit. That big drop by Roy White that should have ended the game. But Hunter takes it into his own hands and whiffs the boomer, George Scott. Ball game is over. Yankees win. The Yankees win 3-2. And our final line score for the Bronx Bombers, they're going to get three runs on 13 hits. They were not very efficient in their hit production. 2 errors, one a big one. The Brew Crew, Hunter, really, he was magnificent. He twirled a 4-hitter, so 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors for the Brewers as Catfish gets the complete game win, going all 9. And final from County Stadium in Milwaukee, New York Yankees 3, Milwaukee Brewers 2, as we have started the 1976 Statis Pro Game of the Week replay. So yeah, this was quick thoughts. This, again, just playing this, and it definitely brings back great memories, and this is really a super ball game. And again, I'm glad I decided to get back into this after a 30-plus year absence. I, as mentioned in my intro video, was thinking about it all year, and finally I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna give it a shot. Some videos, ID Jester was playing this, and I've looked at other ones too. Tabletop Earl at Tabletop Baseball Plus, Earl with an E. And I believe, I want to say, I know someone else is playing it, just slips my mind. But thanks a lot, guys. You finally coerced me into doing this. Glad I did, though. Definitely a fun game. So looking forward to seeing this replay continue. And again, if you have a request for a game, I've got White Sox, Phillies, and Mets on tap. We're going to get a Tom Seaver game. Going to get a Wilbur Wood game. Phillies, I'll look for one with lefty on the mound, Steve Carlton. And also a Mark the Bird Fidrich, and might do that Monday night game where Fidrich faced the Yankees on national TV, which really propelled him to a completely new level of stardom, as if he wasn't noticed already. So player of the game, I've got to go with Hunter. He went 9 innings, pitched a 4-hitter. He did give up the 2 runs, but they were both unearned, and he should have been out of here, quite frankly, with a shutout. He walked 2, 3. Did have some for Jiminy Crickets. Yeah, he had a little an issue here and there with control. Hit a batter, 3, 4, 5 walks. But he also struck out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Struck out 11, including the final out. And actually, didn't think George Scott would get up again, but he did get the golden sombrero. Scott, after being beamed in the first inning, struck out 4 consecutive times. So Catfish had his number. Good managerial decision, allowing him to stay in and face that one more batter. So thank you to myself. And that'll do it here from County Stadium. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And just as you know, to reaffirm, if there's any games you want to see from 76, drop a comment, and appreciate you watching. Until next time, with the cards, it would be keep flipping for the fences. So we'll see you. Take care.